$6 million for Otto Porter?
Only on WWE, The Real 1100 AM.
Sports Roundtable back at you. I'm A. Joe. That's Hancock and G Money behind the glass. And as you heard the promo, we're about to talk basketball. And we got a guy on the phone that I immensely respect. Does a great job, great podcast, a Hawks podcast last night. And he's a Tampa fan, and I'm not going to tell you what Hancock said prior to you coming on. But welcome to the show, E-Dub. What's going on, bro, man?
What up, crew?
What's
Merry
up,
Christmas,
E-Dub?
Happy New Year.
Yes, sir. Same to you. Same to you. Well, I will go ahead and tell you. Hancock said we're going to play spoiler this week.
You know, they trying to find out what hotel that Tampa Bay staying in so they can cook up a good meal for TB12.
Hey, man, I don't take nothing for granted, man. I don't take nothing for granted.
Hey.
Hey, E-Dub, great podcast last night. The Hawks. I guess I was asking, geez, is this a series, 2-game series that they played with Orlando?
Yeah, well, they've done the preseason a little bit different. They're kind of doing them in 2-game sets. They played Orlando twice. Now they're going to play Memphis twice, and then they're going to get things started, man. So they're just quick and easy, limiting the travel, limiting how much players have to move, and just keep it moving.
Okay, well, you could throw a shot back at Hancock because he from Memphis, so the Hawks play Memphis twice, so you could throw a shot back at him if you need to.
Hey, man, Memphis got some of the best barbecue in the world. I don't got nothing bad to say about Memphis.
My man, tell them about it. That's what I've been trying to tell people. Talk this Kansas City and all. Man, Memphis, man. We smoke it down there, baby.
Smoke it down there.
Yeah, man, I don't got nothing bad to say about Memphis, man. It's bigger than basketball.
Yeah, it is. Bigger than Nino Brown. Bigger than Nino Brown, baby.
All right, E-Dub, let's talk about some of the things you talked about on your podcast last night, which is what did we see different other than the depth in the first 2 games? Because I saw, in my opinion, the shooting options, and that Trae should have at least he can walk in the gym with 10 assists with the options that he has with Capela lobbing it to him and the shooters that he has on the outside. Tell us what you've seen in the first 2 games.
Hey, man, this ain't no news flash. When you have better players, then you're typically going to be a better basketball team. So, I mean, Trae got 8 assists last game, and he's still trying to figure things out. You know, I said that he could get 10 assists in his sleep with his squad. You just have better shooters, man. It's a difference than when you have Gallinari on one side and Bogey on the others, as opposed to some of the guys you had last year. I don't want to call no names out of disrespect, but we saw what it was last year. We didn't have no shooters, you know, so talent makes a world of a difference, man.
Now, this is going to be $1 million question, and I don't know if you can answer it, but it was only a few guys who averaged 20 and 10 last year. John Collins was one of them. And the guy who just signed for $228 million was another one of them. What did Giannis signing this contract do for the mindset of John Collins and what he's actually asking for and what he's going to get?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think anybody thinks that Giannis and John Collins are on the same really level. But here's my thing I've always said with John, and I don't know where this thing with John is going to go as far as the contract situation is going. I have an idea, but I'm not sure. So if I'm at a job and I want an increase of money, let's say I want an increase of $20,000 a year, I'm not going to go in and ask for $20,000 a year. I'm probably going to ask for about 40, maybe 45, and hope that he lands somewhere around the 20, 25 range, right? So I'm not sure if John thinks with his heart of hearts that he is a max player, I can't tell you that because I'm not him. I know that if you want something, you can't just go in there and ask for what you want. You got to ask for kind of more than what you're worth. So I think at the end of the day, I think that Travis will make him a fair offer. I don't know if it'll be a max offer. Now, there's so many ways that they can go with that, but that's kind of how I see the situation with John. I don't really think that the Greek Freak signing for $225 really has that much impact on it. And I'm really happy for the kid, man. If you understand his story, man, it makes it all the more better. But I don't think it has too much of an effect on what we're dealing with here in Atlanta.
What do you think Capela makes John's game better? Does it kind of helps him ease off a little bit?
I think it can. We've known ever since we drafted John that he has tendency to get into foul trouble. So if you have a guy like Capela who can stick that 7-footer, like, instead of John having to stick him, not really have to worry about banging with the Andre Drummond or like a Dwight Howard or an Anthony Davis. You have the ability now to say, okay, John, I'm going to have you at the 4, and you stick some other guy instead of you sticking the big. So you have the flexibility now with playing Clint Capela at the 4. Clint Capela at the 5. Or you could even go John Collins sometimes at the 5. You could even play Gallo at the 5. So at the end of the day, you just have much more options. So I think it's beyond Capela. I think the team as a whole, you have more options, and I think that'll do John Collins good.
Who has impressed you with all the depth that we've seen and all of the additions, with all of the people that's come back? The first 2 games, what players have stood out to you and why?
Well, you got to go with DeAndre Hunter, man. The second-year kid has really taken control of, say, hey, man, I know it's only a 2-game sample size, but he has come out here and grabbed hold of that 3 position. Say, look, man, I want to be the best defender on the team. He's shown an aggression. He's always had a maturity about his game, so you never really worried about that. But he's come out this year, looked really aggressive. He shot the ball. He's been poised. And I really like what I've seen out of him thus far.
Okay. That's the only person that's stood out right now?
Well, I like the Hunter kid. I like what Clint has been doing, Clint Capela. He had the double-double last game. And, again, small sample size, only 2 games in. But I like the fact that he's just grabbing every rebound. We haven't seen a rebounder like that since Dwight. And it's refreshing to see because we haven't seen Capela. Even though he came on last year, this is our first time getting to see what it will look like on the floor next to John and next to Trae. So I would say those 2 at first. It was nice to see Bogey get hot last game to hit a couple threes in that third quarter. And Gallinari, I told people from the outset, don't worry about what Gallinari is going to be starting or off the bench. He's going to be a pro's pro. He's going to give you 15 to 18. Playing about every other night because you got to have him on a pitch count. But, he'll be fine. So I've liked the new bells and whistles, and I really like what I've seen out of the Hunter kid.
Yeah, I got one for you, Dub. The question I have, we see a burgeoning star coming to town in the next couple of nights in Ja Morant. When Trae sees these type of guys coming into the building, do you sense anything from him like, okay, this is kind of like a measuring stick against another up-and-coming star? Do I have to go out here and play and show that I am this guy? Do you sense anything in that when he has these matchups?
I think, and honestly, I think that Trae kind of just wants to win. I think that he does, because all these guys are competitors, right? You don't get to the NBA without being a competitor. So I know deep down inside, he's like, look, man, I can't let this dude show me up because he doesn't want to end up on ESPN.
Right.
Trae has said this year that the next step in his maturation has to be he's got to win ball games, And so he's had the stats. Like last year, he was, pretty much 30-10, all-star. He's had the stats. But what's the one thing missing from his resume? Winning. So I think while this year his stats I think his scoring may go down a little bit because you got a little bit more help. I think that his main objective is to win. Do I think he's going to take the challenge? Heck, yeah. He's a competitor, man. He's going to take the challenge. And but I think what's big on his list is winning to me.
Right, and I understand that, and I agree with it. But the fan in me really looks forward to these kind of matchups. So I can't wait to see this happen. Do you think Trae will step into that role as a perennial All-Star? Making the team last year, he started, right?
Yeah. Last year he was definitely a starter. I would see. It's really up to how hard he works. I believe he has all the tools. I believe he has all the intangibles. He's a likable guy. He's for a guy who's the face of a franchise. When he talks to him in the media, he's very humble. He's like, yo, man, I just like to hoop. I just want to, ball and have fun. I think that he's definitely capable. I think that many people undersell how good of a passer is because of, the three-pointers from like 30 feet and all that stuff. But, to me, the bread and butter for Trae is his passing. So, I think he's got the ability to be a perennial All-Star.
Okay, what about his grown man? How is his body maturing? We've seen when Steph came into the league, he looked like he was in the 9th grade. And Trae was kind of thin also. Do you see any of the man maturity coming on? Because I haven't seen him this year. But sometimes you can look at a game, even on television, you can see, okay, I see the strength, being able to take that contact and finish. Do you see that happening for Trae?
Well, so here's the thing. Last year I did see a little bit of maturing from his body-wise. Looked like he put on a little bit of muscle. Not much, because he's never going to be a guy.
Exactly.
I haven't seen that this year, mainly because I haven't been around the team. Because of COVID, the restrictions are a little bit different. So I haven't seen him up close in person. But I've seen him do a lot of workouts over in the off season. In 9 months, you ain't played no ball, ain't nothing else to do but work out.
Right. Right. Well,
I would hope he'll stay in shape.
Yeah, I hope he does. Just get a little bit thicker to just take that. This it's still a physical game. We see basketball, and I don't think people understand the physical nature when you do get hit in that game. Those bodies, they do collide out there. So.
Oh yeah, and the thing about this, and I was just listening to the Woj podcast, who did a 3-part series on Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that was just a brilliant series on the podcast. And if you guys remember Giannis, when he came out, he was skin and bone. Mm-hmm. And now, if you see the transformation of that guy, man, he is yoked.
Right.
So all of these guys are going to come with some type of maturation, and let's not forget, for all intents and purposes, Trae should be like a college senior or something right now.
Right.
Like he's still a kid. He's still a kid. These guys come out early, and we forget that some of these guys are still growing. Some of them still have muscles developing. So you hope that he gets a little stronger with all the guys. But these are still college kids in some cases.
Hey, Dub, what are we looking like as far as? Are you looking at a playoff run? Are we looking at just a great, exciting season? Or I know we're not looking to get back in the top 10 in the draft.
Oh, no, see, and it's funny because I asked Travis that. I was like, so where are we at on the rebuild? Like, what phase are we in? And, Travis pretty much said that, look, man, it's pretty much time to win some ball games. You did all this stuff, clearing the assets and making the money work. Now you've brought in some veterans to surround your core. And the hope is that now you want to see some results on the investment. I've always said at the bare minimum, this team is at least a 500 team this season. I believe that with all of the veterans that you've added and with the core, I think I think being 500 is it's a reasonable thought process for what this team could be. 500 would win this team 35 ball games, and that would probably get you 8th in the East, because last year the Magic were 8th, and they weren't even 500. They've gone to a new playoff system where the seeds 7, 8, 9, and 10, 7, 8, 9, and 10 they're going to have like a playoff game. So that's in essence 2 more seeds to get in there. Like, if you can't be 10 in the East, they gonna fire Lloyd Pierce like before the end of the season. So I definitely think that this team is capable of winning the playoffs. at least a 500 ball club. And but of course, after everything I just said, COVID could throw everything in a spiral. But all things considered, everybody healthy, I think this is a playoff team.
Do you think that Lloyd Pierce has what it takes to put this team in position to make that playoff run?
I think that they do. Now, here's another thing people don't remember. People often forget. Lloyd is still learning this thing too, right? So this is Lloyd's third year. This is his third year as a head coach, so he's still learning. So what a lot of times fans they don't have this thing called patience. You look at all of the good coaches and what they end up is not what they were in year 3. So he's still kind of learning this thing on the rip, But it's good that they brought in an assistant coach like Nate McMillan, a guy who has pedigree, a guy that's won games in this league, to help navigate him, hopefully slow down the learning curve. So I think he's got the tools, and Lloyd is a very bright person. He's a very bright basketball mind, and I think he's got the tools, man. And he's so good for this team and so good for the city of Atlanta.
That's awesome, man. We appreciate it. Hey, before we let you go, because we got to get to the second half, let everybody know where they can find all of your podcasts and where they can find your good work.
Oh, I appreciate it, brother. Hawksbeat, that's all one word. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We just wrapped up a series on the podcast where we previewed all of the teams in the Southeast. We talked to some writers, some podcasters, because newsflash, other teams got better too. So I wanted to kind of get their perspective, but make sure you check out the Hawksbeat podcast. We're pushing out more content to our YouTube this season because we're kind of having to adjust to how we cover the team. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to our YouTube. As always, it's always good talking to the SRT crew. And I wish you guys happiness and clean hands and being safe during this crazy time, man. It's always a pleasure coming on.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it. Happy holidays and blessings to you and the family.
No doubt, man. Y'all be good.
All right, appreciate it. There he is, E-Dub, man.
Yeah, he said something.